You see, communication is the lifeblood of a relationship, and it must be maintained as the relationship develops so there can be mutual understanding, self-disclosure, and respect. The goals of a mentor-mentee relationship are transactional because the mentor wishes to impart wisdom and knowledge while elevating the mentee, and the mentee is there to learn, ask questions, and develop a strong sense of empathy and understanding for the mentor and their work. This needs to be a healthy environment where the communication continuously flows from respectful and honest positions. You know, a relationship does not occur overnight, and many times the level of effort put into a relationship is a choice with both people. You know, through my pre-professional and professional years, I've had some mentors that have really impacted my life. From my days at the university, where I had a faculty member in the communications department, helped develop my teaching and my research skills. She provided me opportunities to be a teaching assistant as an undergrad, and that really helped me to develop my interactive teaching and speaking style that I still use to this day. She was open and honest with me, and most of all, provided great opportunities to be really believing in me. You know, in my professional life as a professor and a speaker, I've had mentors that wanted to be in that role and cared about growing me as a person. And they became people I could talk to about anything because there was this genuine connection there. Good communication always breeds genuine and real connections. And I'm grateful for all the mentors in my life who used good communication to help grow me into the professional that I am today. So let's focus on multiple areas that will help to grow the mentor-mentee relationship. First of all, we focus on nonverbal communication. One of the most effective ways to build a positive relationship with a mentor-mentee is a strong focus on the interpersonal communication, our verbal and our nonverbal communication. Mentees learn best from mentors who are sincere, approachable, and non-judgmental. And these qualities are communicated primarily by our facial expressions and to a limited extent by our words. You know, MIT and other experts agree that over 90% of our communication is nonverbal, and people primarily focus on how something is said and not what is specifically said. This is referring to our body language, our eye contact, our use of touch and kinesics, our vocalics, our tone of voice, rate of speech, inflection, articulation, and our volume. Facial expressions are key in developing a strong relationship. You see, Dr. Paul Ekman, a famed facial expression expert, once categorized over 10,000 different facial expressions. His research led to the FBI's development of facial recognition software because nonverbals are the hidden language of human beings. And if you can tap into these constant but hidden communication streams, you have access to a wealth of information. But actually, nonverbals are not so hidden because they hide in plain sight. In your mentee-mentor relationship, take notice of the other person's expressions, how they walk, how they talk. And one of the best ways for a mentor to put a mentee at ease is to use a nonverbal technique called mirroring, and the mentee can use this as well. This is where you slightly and casually mimic the other person's body language to help them feel more comfortable. And if they use a lot of grand gestures, you may do the same. If they're more reserved and docile, you may act similarly. And our nonverbals really reveal our core thinking and our core attitude. You know, if we're around someone who appears to put our core at rest and not cause anxiety or difficulty, we may be more willing to open up to that person and develop the relationship further. So we need to monitor nonverbals that we're around our mentors, and remember that everything sends a message and can possibly be misconstrued. Nonverbals tend to differ by culture, and some gestures that may be acceptable somewhere else may not be acceptable in other places. So do your research and keep nonverbals on the forefront of the brain during interaction. Let's look at interpersonal communication and listening as another way to help the mentor-mentee relationship. Your intention is to have a meaningful and productive interaction every time you're with your mentor or mentee, depending on your role. Time is a valuable asset on both sides, and we naturally want to spend time with people we enjoy being around and we feel we have a genuine connection with. This is the heart of interpersonal communication, to develop a meaningful connection with somebody. This is essential to your productive working relationship. Now, with all great relationships, you need a strong concentration on the listening aspect of communication. You see, when mentoring, effective communication involves more than providing information or giving advice. It requires asking questions, listening carefully, trying to understand a mentor's concerns and their needs, a mentee's concerns and needs, demonstrating a caring attitude and remaining open-minded with the intention of helping to solve problems. This is something I've learned to appreciate over the years. I run a program called Positive Schools where I help coach and mentor school leaders and principals. And this does turn into a very meaningful relationship. But the number one thing that I have learned is to listen more than I talk. When I listen and I ask the right questions, these individuals will reveal their fears, their dreams, their hopes, their vision, and everything in between when it comes to their personal and professional lives. We grow closer to the process and learn to trust and appreciate each other so much more. At least I have personally with the people that I have helped to mentor. So you can accomplish good, active listening through paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is a great way to stay in touch with the message and determine the basic understanding of the message and to make sure that you are rephrasing it in your own words to check for understanding. Saying things like, well, you're interested in developing a system for improving that, or it sounds like you're concerned about the design of this experiment. You're paraphrasing as you go. You want to make sure that you're also asking open-ended questions, okay? Don't just ask questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. These open-ended questions really encourage full, meaningful answers. And how about self-disclosure? Self-disclosure in a relationship is where you share appropriate feelings, attitudes, opinions, and experiences to increase the intimacy of the communication. We go a little bit deeper each time with what we talk about, and that can help improve and grow the relationship. So good listening will allow you to access valuable information and help to put both people in the relationship at ease. I just want to share a few brief words on good communication leading to trust, because in the end, with a focus on nonverbal communication and listening skills, your relationship begins to develop this strong sense of trust. And relationships are always going to be a feel-out process, and it takes time to get comfortable with somebody, especially on a professional level. But both the mentor and the mentee need to go into the relationship with an open mind and an open heart, and collective belief that they both can make the relationship work to further advance the field and maybe even change the world. A trusting relationship will have great communication. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow me on social media at Jim Van Allen. You can search for my podcast, Communicate to Motivate, on all podcast platforms. It's time to turn the personal into the powerful. Thank you very much.